talking about here as well. I promise we'll get into the military side of it. I just know that once we start talking about that, then we're going to get into the Russians and we get sidetracked. So I'm saving that for the end here. But really, really, really quickly, first and foremost, look at how humanizing these pictures of him are. This is like, I don't know. He looks like a normal dude. He doesn't look insane, which is great. You know, he's not insane, but he's going to be idolized he's sanctified already. I've shown you a picture in like pizzerias of him like with the circle around his head, like sanctified. But also looking at like these pictures, these don't look like the photos that we saw to me. I don't know. He doesn't look like the same suspect photo. Hold on. CEO shooting suspect photo. I want to see the actual like news articles that came out right before we actually found out who it was really quickly. Oh, come on. Don't make me go back and look for all these goddamn pictures. I don't know. It doesn't feel like it looks like the right person to me. Also, here's them perp walking him where he looks great. They're just making him a martyr now.
Here we go.
Does that really look like the same, I don't know, person as this? It like the sizing of his body just doesn't look right to me, but who knows? Yeah, like this and where was the other one? It just like I'm not saying that it's not him. I'm not gonna do like conspiracy shit, but this guy does not look the same to me as this guy. They don't even, I don't know. Their smile doesn't even look the same. He grew a monobrow in a week, I guess, yeah. Way too convenient, I bet they planned it on him. I'm not getting into that. But he looks strong. He looks like he's not all that upset about being here. I mean, he's clearly enjoying the attention. He looks very well groomed, so the prisoners that he's in prison with also respect him. I don't know. And here's the defense attorney, which, by the way, I agree with everything she says here. This is a great defense lawyer.
The second thing I want to make a record of, Your Honor, is I'm very concerned about my client's right to a fair trial in this case. He's being prejudiced by some statements that are being made by government officials. Like every other defendant, he is entitled to a presumption of innocence. But unfortunately, the way this has been handled so far, his rights are being violated.
From the moment that we had a suspect, it was him. There was no presumption of innocence by anybody, including us, like in the media and in like online social media space. But that's like the public. The justice system and elected officials should be at least referring to him as like the alleged shooter, not the shooter. I hear the judge is a spouse of a health insurance chair member or some shit. Of course it is. They're trying to get him the death penalty. They want to make an example of him. I keep saying this, and I think a lot of right-wingers are just censoring it out because it doesn't fit with their worldview and the messaging just feels a bit woke to them. But they're going to take your guns away if you guys do this one or two more times. Go after one or two more CEOs and look how quickly the Second Amendment disappears. I have to say this, anyone who kills anyone willingly is called a murderer. No, he is a murderer. He murdered this man, Batgaz. But the guy he killed is a mass murderer. And that's the difference. Luigi Mangione, even like there's video of him saying, oh, well, I was going to use a bomb, but I was afraid it might hurt somebody else. He wanted to kill the mass murderer. And is it murder? Yes. Is it still wrong? Yes. But the guy he killed, I mean, was responsible for the deaths of tens of thousands of people.
As you know, Your Honor, there's a wealth
Let
of
him-
case law guaranteeing
I wish I
his
could
right
say
to a
that
fair
shit, but it's
trial,
Fed posting if
none
I
of the
do.
safeguards have been put in place yet here. In fact,
You're telling me we can get cheaper healthcare and gun control? Well, I mean, you can only get the cheaper healthcare if you're rich, because the CEOs are the ones that get the socialized healthcare and the special police. But yeah, you can get gun control.
in fact, it's just the opposite of what's been happening. He's a young man, and he is being treated like a human ping pong ball between two warring jurisdictions here. These federal and state prosecutors are coordinating with one another.
I do not condone any
but at the
violence.
expense of him. They have conflicting theories in their indictments, and they are literally treating him like he is.
I agree with her.
Like some sort of political fodder, like some sort of spectacle. He was on display for everyone to see in the biggest staged perp walk I've ever seen.
This lawyer
in my
streams
career.
on Twitch?
It
No
was
way.
Absolutely unnecessary.
Send me her Twitch stream. I'm gonna follow.
He's been cooperative with law enforcement. He had been in custody for over a week. He waived extradition. He was cooperative at all accounts. There was no reason for the NYPD and everybody to have these big assault rifles that, frankly, I had no idea was in their arsenal.
Oh, come on. You should know that they have assault. The NYPD has a submarine in their arsenal. Why the NYPD needs a submarine, I don't know, but they have one. Karen Friedman, Magna follow. She's good. Thank you. I will search her up and drop the follow. I wish he'd pled guilty and represented himself. He might have been able to make the argument that what he was doing to save lives. But to be fair, this is a correct argument from her. He has been immediately presumed guilty. That's under like a real legal system that would have existed in this country even just 10 years ago. That would be enough to be a mistrial. To have the mayor of New York go on television and talk about the alleged killer of a CEO as if there is no allegation, as if he's already been convicted, that would be a mistrial in America 10 years ago. And yeah, no, they have submarines. USA Police are the third largest military on Earth. Actually, that's just the New York Police Department, I believe. It's either third or fourth, but that's just the NYPD.
And to have all of the press there, the media there, it was like perfectly choreographed. And what was the New York City mayor doing at this press conference, Your Honor? That just made it utterly political. And as Your Honor knows, under Lauro v. Charles, the Court of Appeals for the Second Circuit has held
Can
it
we
to
just
be clearly
get some
established
justice over here? No.
that these staged perp walks to the
can't.
media, unrelated to a legitimate law enforcement.
Oh yeah, that perp walk too. There's no reason that should have happened. None.
Law enforcement objective is unconstitutional. And
Wait, hold on. I didn't know that law enforcement objected to this.
Lauro v. Charles, the Court of Appeals for the Second Circuit has held it to be clearly established that these staged perp walks to the media, unrelated to a legitimate law enforcement objective, is unconstitutional. And I submit there was zero law enforcement objective to do that sort of
Oh, never mind.
perp
I
walk.
misunderstood.
There's absolutely no need for that whatsoever.
I think that legally, and I'm not a lawyer, you guys can go watch Brian Tyler Cohen's video that I'm sure he's going to make on the subject and find out whether or not. But I think that enough, like it. If the police arrest you, right, when they're putting you in the car, if they don't read you your Miranda rights, then the case tends to get dismissed. You know, you have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you, et cetera, et cetera. If they don't say that, that's a mistrial. What about the New York mayor going on television and just referring to him as guilty or legally he's good too? Yeah, exactly. It feels like this should already be gone. I don't know. He willingly committed murder and they placed him in jail for it. But we have no evidence of this, Batgaz. In America, you're innocent until you're proven guilty. There's zero evidence. There hasn't been a trial. There's allegations so far. And whether or not he did it, if he did commit the murder, then he's going to go to jail. He belongs there. Murder is bad, etc., etc. But you can't take a suspect off the street, parade them around, perp walk them, say that they're guilty before you have a trial. If this was done to anybody else in this country for any other reason, there would be a lot more of a shitstorm, scrutiny over the subject, I think. It doesn't make sense, aside from the fact that we know that the government doesn't work for you and doesn't care about you. It cares about the wealthy. And, the CEOs of New York are traumatized. And to be fair, Batgaz, what he did, whether or not I support it, I don't condone it, but I enjoyed it. Fuck that guy that he killed. That guy that he killed was way worse than he is. Murder is wrong. Don't do murder. But mass murder is even worse. We have no idea what evidence they had, though, Batgaz. That's the point. They must have had strong evidence pointing at him. They should tell us. It's innocent until proven guilty. You can't go on and refer to somebody as not just the suspect, but the person who committed the crime before there was any kind of a trial, before there was any kind of, judicial shit happening. He hadn't even been arraigned. They just picked him up off the street, brought him to New York, perp walked him, and then put him in jail. And then perp walked him back into the courthouse today. That's all we know. If Elon Musk shot a guy on live CCTV and went to court after and was treated like this, like he was guilty, there would be a mistrial? True. Fuck it. Not even Elon Musk. If Matt Gaetz did this, let's say Matt Gaetz, because we're going to talk about him today. If Matt Gaetz did this, it would be a mistrial. It's justice for the rich and nothing for you.
And frankly, Your Honor, the mayor should know more than anyone of the presumption of innocence that he too is afforded when he dealing.
Yeah, by the way, the mayor was raided by the FBI, arrested. His entire staff was arrested for taking bribes from a foreign country for 10 years. Turkey was paying the mayor of New York for 10 years. He's presumed innocent because he hasn't been proven guilty yet. He's still serving as the mayor after him and his entire administration, essentially, were arrested by the FBI and charged with acting as unregistered foreign agents. And yet he gets the presumption of innocence, but Luigi Mangione doesn't. We don't know. There hasn't been a trial. There's a reason why we have this presumption of innocence until guilt is proven.
With his own
and yes,
issues.
This guy's also rich.
And frankly, I submit that he was just trying to detract from those issues by making a spectacle of Mr. Mangione. And there are consequences to this.
I think this has led
he has
to
a right
some
to a
change
fair
already.
trial. And I just want to put on the record statements that the mayor made publicly about my client. Nothing saying alleged.
I'm not saying murder's wrong until it's right. I never said that. I said murder is wrong. I'm okay with schadenfreude when you see someone bad get murdered, someone evil die. You're allowed to feel joy for that, but don't do murder. I don't support violence. I don't condone it. I just think that we need to have, a trial. I think we should maintain innocent until proven guilty, as there's a reason why that is part of our judicial system to begin with. Because if you get rid of that, then you can just pick you up off the street and throw you in prison and say that you did something, whether or not you did it. What evidence do you have the CEO is a mass murderer? Yes, I can show you that. The fact that this CEO was in charge of the largest healthcare company in the United States, and this healthcare company, under this CEO's, hold on, let me get my living source document up. Under this CEO, created an AI system that was designed to deny 90% of claims of elderly patients when they try and get healthcare. This was the guy. Hold on. There we go. This is from Fox, by the way. UnitedHealthcare under fire for using AI to deny Medicare claims. I think if you are the head of a health insurance company, health insurance organization, and you knowingly and willingly make a decision that results in the death of thousands of people, again, 90% of elderly patients' claims denied for years now, by the way. I think that this is social murder, and I think that this is considered this should be considered murder. Now, again, innocent until proven guilty. I would have had him go to trial rather than shoot him in the street, but I think that he's guilty, And there's a lot more evidence of that than it is this. Is that industry-wide practice or policy specific to that company? Well, so far, only to that company, but the industry as a whole is pretty bad. I've done a video on Cipra, I believe, a different healthcare company, and their methods of denying claims to people. So the industry-wide practice of claim denial, in fact, what was written on the bullets that Luigi Mangione used, if you remember, delay, deny, and depose. This is based off of the three key aspects of the health insurance industry, which is delay, deny, and there's another one. What's the other D? Yeah, no, it's not. Regardless if it's industry-wide, I still blame every CEO. Every single one of them are mass murderers. The health insurance industry is a violent industry. The health insurance industry commits more violence on the American people than any terrorist does. Again, like we watched this yesterday, but I think it was still I think it's one. No, depose isn't what the health insurance company uses. He wrote depose, but they have their own 3Ds too. But just listen to this really quickly. We watched this yesterday, and I agree entirely with this woman.
For what he did. Why? Let's get the answer from one of them. Jamie Peck joins us now. Thank you for taking the opportunity.
Thank you for having me.
Help me understand. Why is it a beautiful thing? Why do you support him assassinating another human being in cold blood?
So I was definitely joking a little bit, obviously drawing a comparison between what Donald Trump said about himself and the sort of explosion.
Delay, deny, defend is what the health insurance companies say to themselves, because defending their denial of the claims. Mangione wrote depose on the bullet rather than defend.
This appetite, this excitement for the conversation that Luigi Mangione started. But I do think to call this an act of terrorism is an insult to the intelligence of the American people. Terrorism is something designed to strike fear into the hearts of non-Luigi's actions, but nearly everybody knows.
And by the way, you know, this isn't terrorism. It's a stupid claim to make, but here we go. This, I think, is one of the greatest pieces of violence that we have to live with in our lives, and it's directly because of this industry. And I think every single health insurance CEO should go to prison.
Everybody knows what it's like to live in fear of having a necessary medical claim denied, the fear of having your life ruined or potentially ended by a stack of medical bills. And I think in a system with so much violence that's directed from the top down, it should come as no surprise when violence begins to boomerang back from the bottom up onto the 1%.
This is called
also,
backlash.
I would like to remind you on the subject of terrorism, nearly 3,000 Americans lost their lives on 9/11, right? This is the largest terrorist attack this country has ever seen. An estimated 190,000 people are murdered each year by our broken healthcare system. That is the equivalent of 52 9/11s worth of deaths every year.
So 52 9/11s a year being committed by this industry, and they get to immediately point at this guy. Trial hasn't happened. They get to bring him up on TV, parade him around. The CEOs get socialism healthcare. They get private police. You get nothing because they hate you. And then they pretend that this is justice. Whether or not he did it, there hasn't been a trial. Jamie Peck is super smart and always a mega babe. She knocks it out of the park. She definitely knocked it out of the park there.
Staged perp walks to the media unrelated to a legitimate law enforcement objective is unconstitutional. And I submit there was zero law enforcement objective to do that sort of perp walk. There's absolutely no need for that whatsoever. And frankly, Your Honor, the mayor should know more than anyone of the presumption of innocence that he too is afforded when dealing with his own issues. And frankly, I submit that he was just trying to detract from those issues by making a spectacle of Mr. Mangione. And there are consequences to this. He has a right to a fair trial. And I just want to put on the record statements that the mayor made publicly about my client nothing saying alleged, for example. And he said, I wanted to send a strong message with the police commissioner that we're leading from the front. I'm not going to just allow him to come into our city. I wanted to look him in the eye and state, you carried out this terrorist act in my city.
Yeah, again, there has been no trial. We have been presented no evidence. There's a lot more evidence that the mayor is guilty. But no, we're just going to pretend. And the governor of New York was floating, having having a special, no, it's not floated, they're doing it. SNA, they get a special 911 that they get to call. It's basically Max Tack from Cyberpunk. They're going to get extra armored SWAT team police. And unlike when you call the police, they're not going to have the risk of accidentally getting shot by the police when they show up. And you get nothing. They get 175 CEOs had group therapy with the governor of New York and the mayor of New York that your money paid for. Your taxpayer money paid for CEOs to get group therapy. Again, when was the last time the state paid for your health insurance? They want to kill him. They are trying to get him the death penalty. I thought it was killed due to feedback. That sucks. No, there's no chance. The government doesn't care about your feelings. They don't care what you think. They don't care about what you believe. They don't work for you.
The city of New York that I love, and he wanted to show symbolism. Your Honor, he's not a symbol. He's somebody who is afforded the right to a fair trial. He's innocent until proven guilty. And the mayor was talking to jurors, future potential jurors that elected him. Those are the people that elected him that he is talking to and calling this man a terrorist. So, Your Honor, I just want to make a record of this and put everyone on notice that this has to stop. And my client is entitled to a fair trial and the presumption of innocence.
And you think he would have been let off under Harris? Are you fucking kidding me? Do you know how many health insurance CEOs were donating to the Harris campaign? No, it would make no difference. Both Trump and Harris would have had very different presidencies, but when it comes to the business class, the CEO class, the owners of this country, no, they don't work for you. They don't care about you. The New York City police were helping bust a strike this week. Elon Musk made $200 billion since he became the president, basically. Look, one good thing has come out of this, and it's the fact that a lot more people are talking about the rich. Class consciousness is growing about this. Bernie Sanders has continued on talking about how much money Elon's gained, talking about strikes that are occurring in the country. People are genuinely becoming much more aware of how the rich fuck you every day. This year, Starbucks signed a $113 million contract to hire one CEO. In 3 years, it failed to sign a contract with nearly 12,000 of its union workers. This is what corporate greed is all about, and why I support Starbucks workers on strike for economic justice. Let's just have a look at the decisions that are being made not for you or by you in this country now.
It was a great conversation. That's what Elon Musk tweeted last night, appearing to corroborate the reporting that he met with both Donald Trump and Amazon founder Jeff Bezos at Mar-a-Lago last evening.
3 days ago.
Bezos is the latest in a string of CEOs who have visited President.
By the way, this is why I'm going to get banned from Twitch. So if you like my content, please jump over to YouTube and give me a like there so you can still find me once I get banned from this one.
President-elect Trump in recent weeks, including Netflix CEO Ted Sarandos, Apple CEO Tim Cook, and the CEO of Google's parent company Alphabet, Sundar Pichai.
I'll be banned from
now,
Google.
Trump's delight that big business is kneeling before him is not exactly a secret.
In the first term, everybody was fighting me. In this term, everybody wants to be my friend. I don't know. My personality changed or something.
Trump is clearly enjoying all of
My
this attention.
personality changed or something. Yeah, it's because you're not the president this time, mate.
But what do the CEOs want in return? Joining me now is Brian Schwartz. He is a White House economic policy reporter at the Wall
If you get Richie Torres to debate me, I'll do it.
Street Journal. Brian, you've been on this beat doing some great reporting. Not in the corner at Mar-a-Lago, but clearly well.
Feeding on you. That's what they're feeding on, Tyler. They're feeding on you, your wallet, your joy, your happiness, your life. That's how they feed. These are fucking vampires that want to siphon every amount of money, joy, life from your body. Not just because it will make them money, not just because they like the power, but because most of them enjoy watching you suffer. There is no such thing as a good billionaire. After a certain amount of money, it literally damages your brain. It's like being addicted to drugs, except this drug has no consequences and gives you infinite power. And so the more you continue to act like this, the more money you have, you build these neural pathways that remove your ability to empathize with other human beings. They don't see you as human. They don't look at you like you're a fucking person. Thank you for the sub, the Fortune Gamer. They look at you less than even less than you look at a video game character. They don't care. They hate you.
Sourced about who's coming in and who's coming out. Can you just first talk about how different this courtship is compared to the last time Trump was the incoming president?
Well, it's certainly different from that, but it's also different than what we've seen with President Joe Biden. I mean, this is kind of.
So, Lennon, Trump owns the military, not saying he would put a hit on Musk, but what if he decides to do that? What would happen? Well, that's the question, right? We watched AOC the other day talking about how Republicans don't know who their daddy is. When Donald Trump says something and Elon Musk says something, they don't know who to listen to, where to go, who to follow. And so who would the Pentagon follow? I don't know. I feel like it might lean towards the oligarchs. I don't think Donald Trump really has much power. Now, like we looked at the I want to invade all of North America and South America plan. That also, to me, in fact, based on the evidence of him talking to Netanyahu a year ago, with him meeting with Putin, this is a trade. Joe Rogan is who they listen to. Yeah, no, it's not. It's Elon Musk and wokeness, dumbasses on Twitter that present bullshit and provide no evidence for it. That's who you listen to. Oh, holy shit, Batcast. Thank you for the subs. And we got a hype train going.
Worlds different because the CEOs learned last time around Trump 1.0 that going directly to Donald Trump is really the best way to get what you want. With Tim Cook in the first term of Donald Trump, he was regularly in touch with him, and that was a lesson many CEOs.
You know what? Fuck this video. Fuck mainstream news. Let's just have a look at it. Elon Musk. Oh, I forgot to mention that I'm going to be funding moderate candidates in heavily Democratic districts.